If you are looking to lighten up your 2018 through 2023 GT or EcoBoost Mustang and get some very aggressive front end styling at the same time, this RE style hood in carbon fiber is going to be a great solution for you. Now this will offer the dramatic change that you may be looking for with the appearance of your build, whether you're just replacing the hood to get some of that additional style or your current hood has taken some damage or started to fade. Now that glossy carbon fiber is going to sharpen up that look for sure, but this hood is going to be great also for the Mustang owner who's looking to get rid of some weight and also some better airflow to shave down those quarter-mile times or just feel an extra boost in their day-to-day driving. Now starting off with the shape and the design of this hood, this is going to have a dual scoop setup at the front, and that's going to be responsible for that sporty appearance that you're getting in addition to a good amount of function for your Mustang. Now the 5.0 or the 2.3 will be able to get a significant amount of air in compared to the factory one. It is going to force that cold air in at the front, force any hot air out of the back of the scoops here, which is going to make for a cooler environment to allow your motor to run more efficiently. Now, as I said, the lightness of the hood compared to the factory one will also be an advantage for you, with up to 32% of weight savings compared to your OEM hood, helping out with your speed, considering that your Mustang is not going to be lugging around as much weight as it was before. Now this will be made of a directional carbon fiber and a high-performance heat-cured epoxy, being strong to withstand the elements when needed. Now on top of it, it is going to have an ultra high-gloss clear gel-coated finish, which will have UV protection within it to offer that classy appearance without having to worry about it yellowing or oxidizing over time. This will also have a fully bolt-on construction, making install fairly straightforward, but I do want to mention that hood pins are recommended for proper install and safety, as well as to avoid any hood struts or gas struts with this, considering that the pressure can cause damage and cracking to the carbon. This hood comes in at roughly $2,500, which is on the higher end of the price spectrum. Now, carbon fiber will also be on the premium side because of the edge that it has over the standard aluminum options with its weight savings and weight to strength ratio and just the sporty vibe that it offers. Now, this one specifically will offer that benefit in addition to the dual scoop function that will both expel heat and bring in air if you want a bit more than the standard heat extractor or single scoop. Now, the appearance will also come down to personal preference, but if you're set on carbon and want a hood that's going to bring some of those extra features to the table for your build, then this is going to be a fantastic option for you. Now, install here will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It is generally straightforward, but I do recommend to have an extra set of hands on deck to help you get this lined up and installed properly. And if you have that and some basic hand tools, it should only take you about an hour or so to get the job done. However, at this point, we can head over to our shop, check out a detailed breakdown on how you can install this on your Mustang at home, whether you're tackling the install yourself or you're just curious about how this gets onto the Mustang. So that is going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and jump into that install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a drill, a ratchet, a 10 and a 13 millimeter socket, a 3/16 and a 1/2 inch drill bit, or possibly a step drill bit, a rasp, a file, a trim panel removal tool, a marking pen, a couple of soft claws, some tape, and some gloves and a mask. Hi everyone. Today we're installing a hood on our Mustang, so let's get started with the uninstall first. First thing we're going to want to do on our uninstall is remove this insulating blanket underneath the hood. The reason for that is we need to gain access to our washer hoses underneath it so that we can disconnect that, and then we can go ahead and remove our hood. So we're going to use our trim panel removal tool to remove these 14 push pins all along the bottom of this insulator. And then once we've got that done, we can go ahead and lift that out of the way. All right, now that we've got our insulator out of the way, we can go ahead and remove our washer hose. So we're going to be using a soft trim panel removal tool so that we don't scratch the paint, and remove these retaining clips from the bottom of the hood, and then disconnect our hoses here at the fitting so that they can lay that down and we can get our hood off. Now we go ahead and grab our T-fitting here and just pull that off of the hose that's in the hood. Do the same thing on this side. Now before we actually start removing the 4 nuts, 2 on each side to be able to remove the hood, I like to take a couple of cloths and put under the corner of the hood, between the hood and the fender and the windshield, just in case it shifts while we're taking it off, we don't crack the windshield or scratch the paint. So we're just going to tuck these in on the corner here of the hood. That way if it does shift, somewhat protect the paint and the window. Now we're going to go ahead and loosen up these 4 10mm nuts here on the hood. We've got 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. We'll actually remove one and leave the other one loosely attached. And then you are going to need a buddy to help lift this thing off because it is heavy and very bulky. Now we'll do the other side. All right, now that we've got a buddy to help lift this thing off, we'll go ahead and lower our prop rod to get it out of the way, and then we'll hold it up and remove the final 2 nuts and go ahead and lift this off. Now before we actually start working on our new hood, there's a couple things we need to take care of on our old hood. One, we need to remove our striker here, so we're going to have to remove these 2 10mm bolts holding it in. So we'll take those off. We also need to remove our windshield washer jets as well as our weather stripping. So let's go ahead and get started by taking off our striker first using our 10mm socket. Now we're going to remove our windshield washer jets, and to do that all we have to do is pry up on the bottom of the edge here and lift that up and it will slide right out. So pull it up, it'll unsnap, and then just slide it straight out. Now next thing we're going to do is remove our weather stripping, and this is a very delicate operation because the retaining pins that are underneath this are very small and they are in a T shape and they're on the bottom of very thin rubber. So when you go to pull these out, you want to use your trim removal tool, very gently pry them out, otherwise you're going to end up ripping the weather stripping. So starting from one end, you can lift it up and very gently pry it up. All right, so now we're ready to start installing and configuring our new hood. So first thing we're gonna do is install our striker using the original nuts. Now, because of the fact that this is a composite hood, you don't want to over tighten these. So be very careful when you tighten them down. Now, before we get too deep into this, because of the fact that this is a custom composite hood, it is going to require some modifications on your part. One thing is the fitting for your washer jets. These are rough openings. You're going to have to adjust them to be able to make sure that these locks go into place correctly. So you're going to need a file or sandpaper, some sort of abrasive that you can trim the outside of these holes to make sure that these fit properly. Next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to drill some holes in the other side of where these fittings go, because as you can see, there's no place for them to come out. So we're going to have to drill holes in the top of the hood here and over on this side as well to make sure that we can get these through and be able to hook up our hoses. Next thing, you're going to have to drill several holes along the route of your weather stripping, because you're going to have to be able to reattach your weather stripping to this in order for that to work. The other thing is we need to drill holes for the windshield washer hose retaining clips. Those are not drilled either. One other hole that we're going to have to drill and cut out is for the prop rod. That's up at the front of the hood. You can see the marking of it, so you know where to drill a hole. It just has to be done because it doesn't come that way. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started and get this thing put together so we can get it back on the car. All right, now because of the fact that we are dealing with a composite material, I mean, we've got carbon fiber on the top and we've got fiberglass on the bottom. These are very dusty materials when you start working with them. So it is absolutely imperative that you wear some protective gloves and at the very least a face mask, preferably a respirator. You don't want to get this stuff in your lungs. So that being said, what we're going to end up doing is first we're going to make our holes for the windshield washer jet wider and bigger so that these will snap into place. And then we're also, once we get that done and we know exactly where it's going to be, then we can go ahead and mark our hole location on this side so that we can drill that out. Now, like I said, because of the fact that this is very dusty material, you have to wear this safety equipment. You don't want to do it without it. All right, so here's the one hole that we're going to be dealing with right now. And this is our water jet fitting that goes in the side. So if you slide that in there right now, it does not lock into place. Okay, so we need to make an adjustment. So for us to make that adjustment for right now, because it's not a lot that we have to deal with, we're just going to be using a file to just kind of trim this up and clean it up a little bit. And that way, once we get it to a certain point, this should snap into place and everything will be great. And then once you get this one done, you can go to the other side. So let's go ahead and get started on cleaning this up. So as I said earlier, you can always take more off, but you can't add it back in. So work slow, take your time, be patient. And once you get everything adjusted at just the right spot, you should be able to snap that in like so. Once you get that one done, Now you can move to the other side and get that one done. All right, now as you can see, we've got both of our jets in. Now it's time to take them out and mark our spot on the other end so we know where to drill our holes to be able to attach our other hose to it. So we'll go ahead and pop our jet out and lay it in a straight line so we know approximately where we need to drill. Now as you can see, we're coming out right about exactly where this screw is at. So we're just going to go ahead and mark that's where we need to drill. Now that we've got it marked, we can go ahead and remove that screw and then get a drill bit that's slightly larger than what our fitting is on the end of our jet here. That way when we slide this through, we've got plenty of room for it to fit and adjust and attach to the other end of the hose. Now we'll do the same thing for the other side. After following the measure twice, cut once method, we've determined that if we drill a hole through here, the tolerances are just a little bit too close and we might not be able to make the connection from our feed hose to the jet. So what we've decided to do is we're going to move the hole from here to up here. So we're going to drill a 3/8 inch hole right here in line with this screw because it's still straight on. So we're just going to drill a 3/8 inch hole right here and feed the hose through there. Now we'll feed our hose through. And that gives us plenty of clearance to be able to attach our feed hose to the jet. So now you can do the same thing for the other hose. So the next thing we're going to do is mark and drill all of the holes that we need for our weather stripping. Now, if you look, it's kind of difficult to see on camera, but most of the locations for these pins, you can see the indentation in the top of the hood. So what I like to do is go ahead and lay it out in the direction that it's supposed to go, lining up the tabs with the indentations, like so. And then what I'll do is take a piece of tape, actually probably a few pieces of tape, and gently lay this over the top and onto the hood just to hold it in place. You might want to do the same thing, like especially around the curvy areas. Now you don't want to put a lot of pressure on this. You just want enough to kind of hold it in place over the marks that you can see, because you can't see all of them. This is just to keep things from shifting around so you don't drill holes in the wrong area. Now, once you've got that pretty well locked down, it's not going to move, take a Sharpie and start marking underneath where all of the pins are at. And just follow this around the entire length of your weather stripping. Once you've got everything marked out, then you can go ahead and get the weather stripping out of the way, and using a 3/16 drill bit, being very, very careful not to push it through, let the drill do the work. because you don't want to drill all the way through to the other side. So you're just going to drill a 3/16 hole wherever you've marked where these clips are at. That way, when we get all our holes drilled, all we have to do is just pop the pins right in. So let's go ahead and finish doing that, and then we'll start drilling our holes. So let's start drilling some holes. All right, so you now get the idea of what we're doing here. So we'll save you the boring details of going through the whole line. Follow the process, follow your dots, and you can get all those holes drilled. All right, now as you can see, we've got all of our holes drilled. So now we can go ahead and start pushing our clips back into the holes and lock it into place. All right, next thing we're gonna do are drill two 3/16 holes on the side here for the washer hose to attach to the hood. Now, you can see the indentations of where they're supposed to be. I always recommend that you measure that on the stock hood first and make sure that they are in the correct location. Now, I've already done that and verified that they are in the correct location, so we'll go ahead and drill our holes where they're marked. Now again, slow and easy. Don't want to drill all the way through the hood and cause any damage. All right, now that that's done, next thing we're gonna do is drill out the hole for the prop rod on the front of the hood. All right, so you can see here on the hood where it's got the arrow and then there's an indentation here for the prop rod. So we're gonna go ahead and drill a couple of holes in this, and then we'll use a file to go ahead and smooth this out and make it larger, because it is slightly larger than a 1/2-inch drill bit. So we'll drill a couple of holes here and then we'll clean it up with a file. All right, now that should be big enough to get our prop rod in there so that it'll actually function and hold up the hood. If it's not, you can adjust that, shave it a little bit more once you get it on the car and test fit your prop rod. So that being said, let's go ahead and get this cleaned up and get it installed on the car. All right, now that I've got a buddy to help me lift this up and get it attached, we'll go ahead and put this on the car. All right, now you will have to reuse the nuts that came with the hood when it shipped, because they are a different thread size. Now at this point, now that we've got the hood back on, now it's time to actually lower the hood very slowly, very carefully, not all the way, just to make sure that all of our gaps are good, we're not binding up on anything, and we're not hitting anything on the corners. So we'll go ahead and take our prop rod out. Slowly lower our hood. Check all your corners, make sure it's not hitting anything on the fenders. Gently push it down to latch it. So we're good. We're all lined up. We're ready to go. Now we can go ahead and tighten everything down and put our washer hoses back on. And now you can go ahead and tighten down the bolts on the other side. All right, now we'll go ahead and put our connectors back on our washer jets. All right, now we can go ahead and attach our hose to the side of the hood. Now, that being said, you'll notice that we didn't drill holes for the hoses that goes attached to the hood itself that goes across. The reason for that is we didn't have a good measurement to be able to do that while it was on the table. Now that we've got it back on the vehicle, you can go ahead and drill your holes in the locations that you need in order to attach that firmly to your hood. We're not going to do it on ours, but now you know how you have to do it and what you need to do to get it done. Now the next thing is the underhood insulation. Your stock insulation is not going to fit. It's a completely different design. There's nowhere to attach it. So if you want underhood insulation, you're going to have it custom made. Now, one final note on our hood here. The manufacturer does require that you install hood pins to hold this down on the vehicle because of the lightweight nature of the hood. Now, we're not going to install hood pins on our vehicle because it's not staying here. But if you install this on yours, make sure you get a good set of hood pins to be able to hold this down.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the RE style hood in carbon fiber fitting all 2018 through 2023 EcoBoost and GT Mustangs. And you can find this right here at AmericanMuscle.com.